Yesterday, when people don't like working for you, they can either quit and leave or quit and stay. Now, what we're dealing with here is I would prefer to get this guy on my team. I would prefer to get him up and running. In fact, because it's very expensive to keep replacing people. Very expensive, and lost customers, lost work. And so what I want to do is try to work with these people. Now, what I do is I have a choice. Everybody always has a choice, and you have a choice to operate from 2 points of view. One is called position power. Position power. Now, position power is simply the old my way or the highway. And position power literally is where you take and you only operate from the normal pyramid. The top half of this pyramid is truly position power, where I'm always going to tell you what to do. You will do it my way. I don't want to hear any other information other than I just want to see that it's completed, period. No questions asked. Now, when you're dealing with position power, that can create a lot of animosity, particularly if the person decides to quit and stay. In that, and here's a great example. They discovered in the early 80s, and when I say they, a group of people that worked for Ken Blanchard with his consulting team, the guy that wrote the 1 Minute Manager, they discovered a really neat thing called the Law of the Hawg. Law of the Hawg. And what happened was he was invited to come up and work with a lumber mill up in Northern California, this team of consultants, because the lumber mill was having a problem. They were losing a lot of money. But they were having tons of lumber. They were bringing in the lumber that they were cutting down and bringing in was the same, but somehow something was wrong. Now please understand, in this type of scenario, in a lumber mill area, if you do not own the post office general store, the gas station, and the bar, then that means you work at the lumber mill or you don't live there at all. Because of that, working at the lumber mill had a lot of stress to it. And it happened like this. The day they're going into the lumber mill, they notice a guy being carried out on a stretcher. The guy had a big whelp across his forehead. He'd been hurt really bad. And they're like, well, wow, this must be a dangerous place to work. They get in there and start meeting with the guy that's the manager of the lumber mill, talking to him about it. And they're kind of setting their strategies about how they want to work with managers and employees to get all this other stuff. And as they were closing their meeting and about to go out and start working with the people, one of the guys made a comment about how dangerous it must be to work there because of the guy that got carried off on the stretcher. Guy starts laughing. Oh yeah, that guy, he got in an argument with his manager and he just whacked him with a 2x4. You know, we don't have time to deal with crap from employees. Now the Blanchard people knew they probably had a very big challenge ahead of them. And they go out and really start working with these guys, keeping this in the back of their mind. Now you're going to love this. About 4 or 5 days into their operation, one of the oldie guys working there, been there a long time, pulls aside one of the consultants and says, look, you got to understand, we really know how to take care of ourselves, and we have this situation better underhand than you can even imagine. Guy gets kind of curious. They start talking, and this is when he discovered this thing called the Law of the Hawg. In that, in a lumber mill, they have a device called a Hawg machine. Okay? And a Hawg machine is the machine, apparently, that takes all the wood scraps and grinds them up into byproducts to make particle board, maybe filler for plywood, stuff like that. Now, the consultant got a little worried when the guy had this funny smile about what they did with managers in this Hawg machine. But luckily it had nothing to do with physical abuse of the manager. But what they did do was they would take the finest quality lumber, the kind you sell by the linear foot with no knot holes in it. And they dumped it in the Hawg as fast as they could. I mean, they would just dump it when no managers were around as much as they could get into it. Now, what was fascinating about this was this Hawg machine was the only piece of equipment in the whole organization that got preventive maintenance. Only piece of machine. Makes sense, doesn't it? Anything else that would break, they would take their time, wait for parts, get it done 3 or 4 days. Man, they think this thing is running perfectly. Now, when they first started off with this thing, it was just kind of a joke. It really was. And at the end of the week, the employee who could throw the most lumber into the Hawg would get free beer and pool at the bar. Okay? But because it caught on and got so popular, they decided to break into shift competition with it. Okay? And what they did, this is brilliant. They had goal setting, they had support, they had feedback, and they had a reward system.
The employees did.
And they were so fair about it that they even handicapped the midnight to dawn shift because there were less managers around. Brilliant, huh? I thought it was cool. Now, here's the fun part. At the end of the month, the winning shift got a free picnic, and they invited everybody in the mill to attend the picnic. And all these guys on upper management had no idea why these people had these picnics, but they thought it was a great idea. Isn't that beautiful? Because they would go too. And they would enjoy this picnic. Now, that's how crazy this got. But that's called the law of the hog. In that when people don't like the way they're managed, they will find a way to get even. See? Now, oddly enough, in the Navy, it's called float testing equipment, in that at midnight, they would go out and literally throw something overboard. If it didn't float, it must not have been any good. See? And the idea is every organization has their hog system. And sometimes it's not conscious. People don't do a lot of this stuff consciously. They just do it because they have a bad attitude, they get depressed or whatever. They're not good about showing up at work, they don't write good ROs, they do misquotes, they don't care. You see a lot of ways that this hog thing gets into effect. So what we need to do is find a way to make sure we don't create a position power scenario, but we want to create what is called personal power. Personal power says, I want you to win.